power around the service situation. That's a very fine example of it.
6-3.
For once we were lucky.
Never let it be said that you're not the most truthful analyst. So 6-3. And though the Malaysian pair are
4-6.
trying to fire themselves up, they know that there is a lot to do here. And the people that they're doing it against are not going to be easily overcome.
Service over.
7-4 now.
7-4.
I think all eyes are currently on court 1, which will probably help Nielsen and Mogensen. There will be a scream of joy, national joy, which they will both have to deal with. Both pairs on this court will have to deal with. And it might be happening very soon.
But Indonesia have survived, what, 4 match points so far?
So far, yeah. Isn't that just like them? Oh, and that's it. And I'm sure that Richard Kaufman and Gillian Clark, who are commentating on that, must be having a ball. India through to the semi-finals. Just another one of those surprising results that you were talking about.
Yep.
And it just goes to show you that if anyone tells you that hosting an international sporting event does not help you, then they are very wrong, as has been proved so many times before in so many disciplines. Meanwhile, back on court 2.
And we saw a very good defense by Joachim Fischer.
Brilliant.
Once again, Tan couldn't get it down. Look at that one. Still couldn't get it down.
Quite amazing lift. 9-5.
Service over. 6-9.
So, Goh and Tan are definitely finding this a tougher prospect than the world number 4 Koreans last night. It is a tall order to ask them to pull out 2 incredible performances, but they really were on their game yesterday. And that is probably one of the few ways that they could actually win a point. It was played at the feet of Joachim. Oh, sorry, played at the feet of Carsten there. And could that be just a victory lap from Gutan Punapa, who have beaten Polly and Mashwari.
Service over. 10-7.
It is also worth mentioning at this point, Thomas Cup, the other quarterfinal, that Indonesia are 2-1 up against Korea, against that combination of Kim Ji-kung and Kim Sarang.
Denmark. Play.
Now we get to the midway point, and as expected.
Yeah, but in all fairness, I do not think that the Danish pair has played up to standard yet. I know they're 10-8 up, and it sounds really not very nice, but I think that they have made too many mistakes, and shots like that, they haven't found the rhythm from yesterday yet, that's for sure.
10.
Just to stress again, of course, these words from a former world number 1 who's known to push himself to the very limits, and I think that is the best way of looking at it. If you can play to your strengths and your best potential, you should play to your strengths and your best potential. And I think
10.
we've all seen Carsten Mogensen and Joachim Nielsen play some incredible badminton, and they really opened up the game, if you think about it, at that speed. And now it's 10-all. Still no cause for danger yet, though, Mon.
No, definitely not, but they are making far too many mistakes. They lost 4 points in a row here, 10-7 up, now 11-10 down.
So a nicely poised second doubles encounter in this Denmark-Malaysia quarterfinal at the Thomas and Uber Cup finals. These are some of the fans, the Malaysian fans that have gathered, and they were just split just now by watching the historic moment of India and their Uber Cup team getting to the semi-finals at the expense of Indonesia. You also catch that coverage under the watchful eyes of Richard Kaufman and Gillian Clark. Right now, it's 11-10. And as Morten Frost, former world number 1, sitting in the commentary box with me, has pointed out, it's a very important game for the Danish pair, wonderful Danish pair of Nielsen and Mogensen. And so far, through no spectacular efforts by the Malaysian team, they have allowed them, Goh and Tan, to sneak back in to this opening game, which could be dangerous in the macro view of the whole thing, as Malaysia are 2-1 up in the tie. If anyone is talented enough and skilled enough and has the right weapons, as Morten pointed out earlier, to bring a second point to Denmark, it would be these two.
Yeah, hopefully they will get it from a Danish perspective, that they will get it together. Now they scored the first 2 points after the break, 12-11 up, and hopefully it will come soon for the Danes, because they had a really bad spell just at the end of that first half of the first game.
So 13-11. And they really have got everything when it comes to the game. Recovery, coverage, defense, attack, and also the most important, experience at the highest level to pull out the points and the games needed to succeed. Look at that, the dedication from Carsten Mogensen there.
Luckily he didn't injure himself.
12-13.
I suppose that is always, I suppose it's a double-edged sword. You want the passion, you want the kind of dedication, but
absolutely, but he could have hurt his hamstring on that one, so good he didn't.
Yeah. Well, of course, if they do make it to the semi-finals, then this is one pair that the Danes will be counting on. So it is going to be definitely in the back of their minds to keep them healthy. Oh, it was a well-positioned and placed shot. Every point like it's a match point. And now back in control at 14-12. And
look, that was
indicative of some of the errors you were talking of?
No, you see, it was a wonderful flick serve, and it was in, and it's so difficult to control these flick services.
Yeah.
And he did so well casting on it, but then he was faulted by the service judge. So that was a bit unlucky for the Danes. It would have been 15-12 rather than 13-14.
I think the significance of those even tiny point differences, I think a lot of people when they're watching badminton are looking out for the 5-6 point leads, but really it can just be 2, it can just be 3 at the right part of the game. It can really upset your opponent.
14-all.
Good play by Goh V Shem. Really well.
15-14.
So the Malaysians now edging into the lead.
Yeah, 15-14.
Bit of miscommunication there from
No, I think they are simply not playing as solid as what they did yesterday, and they have to find it somehow, making 2 easy mistakes, and they have to get the confidence back.
And comes out, and now, I did say it earlier, they're equally gifted in attacking, defending, and recouping. Well, now it's the latter, the recouping, that the Danish pair are going to have to do against Goh and Tan, who are playing a different game than the one they played against the Koreans. But just a word on the Malaysians, very fast, very quick.
Yeah. Had the luck of the net here. Just clipped the tape, got it over.
Now 17-14. And very significant point here.
Denmark, Joachim. You need to get ready to play quicker, please. No more chat.
And umpire just talking to Joachim, Fischer, Nielsen there.
I think she wants to move the game on to long breaks. Too much talk.
Right.
Continuous play.
That in itself, I suppose, can be a... Oh, was that out?
That was out.
It was...
18,
If he managed
14.
to read that while flying through the air, that's quite impressive. There was an instance yesterday in the second game against the Koreans where there was a lot of racket fakes and there was a lot of dummying going on as well from the Malaysian pair. And I didn't know whether that was brought on by the coaches, but
15,
it certainly
18.
had the desired effect. Still not quite emergency yet, and
But it's close.
succinctly put.
See, that's what confidence do.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that Fischer served well, and normally he would take the first shot, but he ducked. Look at that, he ducked in that one.
Right.
And that one again. Normally he would have the racket up, he would go for it, he would play his shots, but because he's lacking confidence, he's leaving it to Carsten, and Carsten is under pressure. It's total confidence
And that's
situation.
it. And nothing, a good couple of points won't reactivate.
16, 19.
There's one of them there. 16-19 now. It's not beyond these two to pull this game back from the brink.
Points.
3 game points. And when you're talking about confidence, it's Goh V Shem and Wee Kiong who are riding off that great win against the Koreans yesterday, and this might just galvanize them. Okay, Malaysia already 2-1 up in the tie. And that's one saved.
18, 20.
Yeah, but most likely not enough. Most likely. Let's see if Fischer has got the confidence on this 1, 2, 3. That was better.
Yep. And enough to send that return.
Yeah, the serve
Right.
return and the third shot. He did much better on that one.
Now, this is a different situation from being 3 points down, 3 game points down.
He left it,
And that really does give the impetus to the Malaysians. If he doesn't kill it off immediately. I think there's a direct correlation now to leaving that. So 21-19 in the first game. Malaysia 1 game away from the semi-finals. Now it's another important game for Malaysia, and it has to be said, I've been sitting here in the commentary box with former world number 1 Morten Frost, who has been looking at this wonderful pairing of Fischer, Nielsen and Mogensen, and wondering about confidence. And I've got to say that really just now during the midway interval, it didn't look like they were too happy. We kick it off this time. Now that's more of the fire that we saw in the opening points of the opening game. They've got to get a good hold on this. And I was just saying, Morten, that just before, in that midway interval, when they were talking to the coaching staff, they didn't look too happy with the way things were going.
No, the Danes surely not. Especially Fischer is very expressive.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's got lots of energy, and obviously he's so competitive. He hates to lose.
Yeah.
So obviously you could see that on his expression, not happy with how he was going.
Now you can just see that was incredible. That
Another
was a change of racket. Mid-point. And that's really one for the highlights reel. There's fast players, and then there's and they still won the point. That's incredible. What will we see next? People changing their shoes? Look at that. It's worth a replay.
Yeah. But
you knew exactly where it was.
Yeah, total balance.
That's one for the coaching staff. You could get your doubles pairings to go change their rackets every point just to build up their speed. They have been the stars of the Malaysian team after their famous victory yesterday. But Tan Wee Kiong's racket change at this Thomas Nuber Cup will be remembered for a while. I'm assuming, of course, Morten, that there's no legislation or rules against that. You are allowed technically
absolutely.
to run off and
it is easier in doubles though than in singles.
Obviously, you'd have to be an extremely good singles player. Don't tell me you tried it at some point. You know?
I'm sure I've tried it. Tried anything, anything to win.
That's the mark of a champion. 3-1.
That's good smash. Really good smash by Tan. Very nice.
And this was the phenomena that we saw yesterday. There's great team spirit always in the Danish camp, but it's been good at this event, especially to see the Malaysians all getting together as well and supporting these stars. And that looked like it was going out.
That is much more the Danish way of playing. This one here, there's much more.
Yeah. Forcing the issue of the net, and I have a funny feeling that we're about to see some extremely great badminton. Based on that point, it looks like the Danish pair are fired up again. And that was just a great return.
Yeah, it was. Quickly got back. He actually was caught, but he got back and played a very nice return on it.
Yeah.
Good cross-court smash.
Came back so fast that even the block was just not high enough. Good lift there. Left it a bit open. Oh, just powered down.
That's what Fischer needs to gain confidence, to be able to finish some of these, because before he was just blocking them.
Yeah.
And now suddenly he's hitting again, and that is, you know, that will give him confidence.
Yeah, just rile up all the right feelings, and he's a wildly expressive character.
He is. He looks fierce on court, but he's actually what you could call a gentle giant.
Yeah, no, I said that he was so successful at the Super Series Masters Finals with Christina Pedersen that he actually did a lap of the entire arena. I remember. I was waiting for him to turn up so I could interview him.
4-5.
And you can see some support there from Lee Chong-wei. He's happy with what Goh V Shem and Tan Wee Kiong are doing right now.
Yeah, understandably.
Understandably. 4-5, not out of it yet, and still within sight of delivering Malaysia a famous point that will get them into the semi-finals. Definitely, it's a different pairing we're looking at now from the one I saw at that midway interval from the first game. Oh no! Unfortunate. 5-6. Shaking your head, Morten. Couldn't believe it.
Carsten is normally such a good server, and I must say in this match he has made some mistakes on that serve, and this is very unusual for him. Good return by Fischer.
Oh, nicely finished there by Tan Wee Kiong.
Yeah. Well, moving into that net. Look at that. Good defense there, saving it, moving in now, that's good.
That transition changing from, and it was such a pacey defense as well, the shots coming in.
Yeah. Well deserved for the Malaysian to win this point.
Ties them up at 6 apiece. Now can the Malaysians go into overdrive? They're facing a fired up Danish pair that do not like to lose, and you like to think they've already had their blip in the middle of that first game. They've come back, and so now they're going to be a wounded animal after losing that first game. And can this pairing, Goh V Shem and Tan Wee Kiong, soak up that pressure? 7-6. And
service over.
A much needed point
7-all
for Nielsen and Mogensen. 7-all.
service over.
And they're keeping it together right now.
Yeah, nice soft return. Goh V Shem, really very delicately played.
They don't seem to be too phased right now.
Nope.
That's a high lift. Oh, it was a beautiful return. It's just a shadow too long. Ah, you can just see there in that shot of the Danish team, there was the pair of Conrad and Kolding leaning forward there, looking quite concerned.
They look concerned, yes they did. But no wonder.
No wonder, I suppose. I'm sure there's a lot of people all over Denmark right now that are a little bit concerned.
Yes.
And again, that no man's land between a doubles pairing found efficiently by Goh V Shem and Tan Wee Kiong. And I can tell you now that if they do manage to pull off a victory against the likes, the caliber of Joachim, Fischer, Nielsen and Carsten Mogensen immediately after dismissing the Koreans yesterday, and they really will be making some headlines.
Yeah, knowing the press in Malaysia.
I'm sure the press was always favourable towards you, Morten.
Very.
Yeah.
I can really not complain. I was treated very nicely in the press in Malaysia as well, even when I was playing and also when I was there as a national performance director.
Yep.
So,
well, had I been part of the press in Malaysia at that point, I'm sure I would have interviewed you. I came along a little bit after that, obviously.
I
but
think so, yes.
I've always been nice to everyone. Surely myself. 9 all.
Some 17 years ago, so it's quite a long time.
Service over.
Now 10-9, and again it was that transitional from defense to attack. It's just moving across the court and just finishing it off low at the feet of the Danes. Very hard to pick up with the speed. How did they manage to get that back?
Service over.
So 10 all.
10
And really,
all.
this midpoint interval in the second game is going to be so crucial in the advice that they give themselves and that the coaches give them as well. I think a game down. The tie in the balance. Now that was
They took the
a
tape.
real.
Good return.
Service over. 11-10. Interval.
So at the midway point, it's 11-10, and Malaysia are now 10 points away. So, a very important midway interval as we just have another shot of the Danish team, and we were talking about how concerned Conrad and Kolding look. And of course Janne Jorgensen there as well. The other players that have been on court so far, along with Hans Christian Vittinghus, in what has been an enthralling quarter-final here at the Thomas and Uber Cup Finals. Sitting alongside me, former world number 1 Morten Frost, and he has been watching an edgy performance, shall we say, from...
Yeah, I'm concerned.
You're concerned now.
I'm concerned on behalf of Denmark, I must say.
I think you couldn't have summed that up any better, really. The nation is watching through the screen, and they're just as concerned.
But this is a good shot by Goh V Shem again. I think he has played really well.
So far, you can just see from the way he leapt across the court there, having this 2-point lead.
What I like is that he doesn't feel under pressure. He just plays the shot, and look at that. That was really good. I like that a lot. It's not often you see that in Malaysian players. They have that kind of confidence and, and go in and play under pressure.
It's what everyone has been saying. Just play the game that you know well, that you remember. And you picked up a racket.
I think he's doing that so well today. Obviously, I didn't see it yesterday as I was watching another match.
Oh, they were just as devastating yesterday. But as I said, it was a different situation for them. The Koreans are so different from the Danes, and so to show this versatility, I think has been quite interesting. And again, another point. It's 14-10, and this means
Goh V Shem is really, really playing well now.
That Malaysia are 7 points away from a semi-final berth.
There is power. It's a very difficult shot. It looks easy, but I'm telling you, it's not.
I'll take your word for it. And again. Now, is this another collapse? You think? You think that Carsten Mogensen and Joachim Fischer just didn't expect this barrage of shots to be coming their way?
Fischer has lost his confidence. He's made the last two or three mistakes as well. That's why he's changing his racket. He's desperate. He wants to do something. You have to change anything, and obviously racket first.
Yeah. That's quite methodical. Start with the racket and move it.
It's going long.
All right, that's out.
Yeah, that's 4 in a row, I think, from him and his racket.
So the Malaysia team edging towards a semi-final after another spectacular performance from this scratch pairing of Goh V Shem and Wee Kiong. I'll tell you now that the cameras behind me are focusing in on court 2. They sense a headline, a lot of consternation on the Danish bench.
Concerned faces on Lars Ure and Jesper Larsen.
And
It's over. 11, 17. Denmark.
so a chance now, but really, and another talkie to, that's not going to help his confidence. It's not going to help his psychological makeup right now, is it?
I think the umpire is on top of him as well, you know.
Yeah.
Keep playing, continuous play.
And here we go.
Once again,
18-11, and everything is just looking really good for Malaysia.
it's looking rosy. Good play, good interception by Goh V Shem.
That one long. So a chance again for this wonderful pairing to refine their footing. It is a big ask from here. And again, a wonderful backhand push moving towards the net.
And Goh V Shem has been outstanding in this match. Look at that, the one here, look at that.
Yeah.
That is a hard push.
In fact, all 3 strokes there were backhand. Electric speed, great precision. Oh. And so we're edging closer.
Edging closer.
It's
very
match
close.
point. It's extremely close. I like to keep all the possibilities open, but it is match point. It is tie point. Malaysia on the brink of a semi-final berth.
And it would be fitting if it's Goh V Shem who's doing it. He's just keeping
Disguised
it
drop.
yeah, he's just keeping it up.
Trying it, but they do have a good view of these tie points.
20.
7 to defend. Maybe a bridge too far. And they've done it. Malaysia are through to the semi-finals after a fantastic performance again from their doubles pairing of Goh V Shem and Wee Kiong. Morten Frost, I know you had a lot of...
I had a lot of faith
had a
in
lot
the
of faith
Danish
in-
team, and especially in this doubles, and that failed me. I have to accept that.
I think Janne Jorgensen and there you go, Kolding as well.
Yeah.
Are very disappointed, but they did for a while. We'll see the highlights in just a second. It was game plan that was honoured, I suppose you could say, for the first few games, and then after that it was more of individual brilliance from the likes of Goh V Shem, especially.
Goh V Shem
That's-
played outstandingly in this match, really, really well played, and I liked the way that he did not feel the pressure at all.
So 21-19, 21-13 in 38 minutes. And what a performance from Malaysia. Looking back at this wonderful match, and it started off at an electric pace.